Hey, how's it going, everyone? So today we're going to be looking at SCP-507, Reluctant Dimension Hopper. Jump right into it.
The terrified man huddles in the corner, heart pounding and teeth chattering. He sees them coming towards him, huge eight-legged figures, 10 feet tall at least, with 8 black, soulless
Bro,
eyes that
spiders.
seem to stare hungrily
Why
at
does it
him.
have to be
It's like
spiders?
something out of a nightmare. Giant man-eating spiders everywhere. They approach.
Giant man-eating spiders. Yeah, that's the ones I'm scared of. Uh, I'm actually an arachnophobe, but I surprisingly like tarantulas. So when I was in seventh grade, yeah, it was seventh grade. I had a teacher named Mr. Stockton, and he had all these pets. Like you normally in schools or on TV, you'd see the school pet or whatever. We actually had that. It was only in eighth grade. Mr. Stockton had so many pets, uh, and one of them happened to be a tarantula. He brought her out to me. Her name was Rosie. He didn't make me shake her hand, but he made me shake her hand, and I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love that spider. And because of her, I've never been scared of tarantulas. Well, after that. So I will actually be okay with tarantulas. But any other spider, I'm gone. I'm like crazy arachnophobe. I can't do it.
Approach the man, fangs dripping with venom. But just as they're about to strike, he vanishes. He won't be spider food today, but for this truly unlucky guy, his ordeal is far from over. Let's rewind. When life gets a little too boring, we all daydream about getting away. Maybe you imagine sitting on a tropical beach or camping in the mountains and breathing in the fresh air. Some of the more adventurous types with a vivid imagination might daydream about visiting a parallel universe. Who wouldn't want the chance to see what life is like in another dimension? Of course, it would only be fun to go there if you could control where you went and when you could come back. Without any control over it, the ability to hop back and forth between dimensions would turn from a blessing to a curse. Just ask
Yeah, that's true.
SCP-507. SCP-507, unlike most other SCPs, is a seemingly normal human man. He has blonde hair, green eyes, an unrecognizable accent, and no other features that might make him stand out. He looks perfectly average, like a stranger you'd pass on the street and never give a second thought to.
He probably got the accent hopping between dimensions, which is why nobody can tell where the hell it's from. It's probably like, I don't know, Texas and Florida had a weird accent where it merged together, and this is what this guy knows or something. There's no telling. Hell, he could be speaking with an alien dialect.
What sets him apart is not a physical attribute, but rather an ability that he has yet to develop a firm grasp on. He is a dimension hopper, with no control over where he goes or when he'll get back. After appearing on the grounds of
That
a
would be
mental
cool,
treatment
but having no
facility with no
control would be scary.
identification, rambling about a world of giant spiders, SCP-507 was admitted to the hospital and sedated for his own safety. He would spend several months in treatment for a variety of supposed disorders, but once he became aware of his surroundings, he attempted to escape the hospital multiple times. During these escape attempts, he often eluded hospital staff by mysteriously disappearing and reappearing in seemingly impossible places, such as behind locked doors or in rooms blocked off from the rest of the hospital. These disappearances and reappearances seem to be, contrary to what the hospital staff first believed, beyond his control. The SCP Foundation became aware of the strange phenomena surrounding 507, and he was removed from the hospital and brought to an SCP Foundation facility. Once there, the nature of his abilities became much clearer. SCP-507 is able to, without intent or even knowledge that it is about to occur, shift from this reality to another alternate reality. After some time there, with the amount of time varying from case to case, he will shift back to this reality. He has been known to shift realities while sleeping, in the middle of a sentence, and even while bathing or going to the bathroom. The shifts are unpredictable, and there is no telling what kind of horrors he will encounter in the new dimension where he ends up, leading to 507 having seen some very strange things, even by SCP Foundation standards. During one of his shifts, 507 found himself in a pitch-black room filled with the sound of muted breathing. Using a flashlight he had been given by the Foundation, he looked around and found that he was not alone. In the room with him was a man, wearing a black suit and sunglasses, with a frightening, inhumanly wide smile. The
That's
smiling
creepy.
man leaned in towards 507 so close that their faces nearly touched, and said, "Back so soon?" Terrified, 507 fired several rounds from a
What?
Foundation-issued pistol, then curled up in the corner of
Man just started blasting. All the dude said was back so soon. Like, he's been hopping dimensions. He could have been there in his sleep or something.
the room until he shifted back to our reality. This would not be the last time that he encountered the smiling man. According to document 507-3B, which details all of
he did.
507's shifts into other realities, 507 was found in a Midwestern cornfield by Foundation staff with brown liquid on his cheek. In his hand, he held a human heart with the words, "I need you," written on it in the same brown liquid.
What the
Before
fuck?
he shifted back and landed in the cornfield, 507 shifted to a pitch-black room filled with the sound of muffled crying. He turned on his flashlight, taking note of his surroundings, and found himself face to face with the smiling man once again. The smiling man had brown liquid leaking from around its sunglasses, which it wiped onto 507's cheek.
What
Upon
the
further
fuck?
examination, 507 saw several bullet holes in the smiling man's suit, leaking the same brown liquid. He attempted to fire his pistol like he had the previous time, but it did not fire. As the smiling man began to approach him, 507 turned and ran. He ran for about 10 minutes before finding a corner where he stayed huddled once again until he shifted back. The smiling man is not the only nightmare that SCP-507 has encountered on his travels. During another shift, 507 described appearing in a small room filled with dried corpses, a single window, and a flickering light hanging from a ceiling. While attempting
This dude just keeps going into, like, terrifying realities. What the hell?
to wait out his time in the room, he discovered that the corpses were capable of movement. Whenever the room was in darkness, the corpses would pose themselves like living people. When he looked out the window, the corpses would join him
Wait, is this like a reality where everybody's just, like, corpses?
and look out the window with him. When he sat down, they would sit with him in a circle.
It's making me think of the mannequins in Skyrim and Fallout 4.
507 attempted to pass time by falling asleep, but was unable to do so. Though many of his experiences were disturbing, only one of 507's documented shifts resulted in him requesting a memory wipe from the SCP Foundation. On this one, he found himself in the maternity wing of a large hospital. A creature, dressed like a nurse, approached 507 and told him that he was upsetting the other patients, and that it was time to start the operation. 507 was then wrapped in a straitjacket and wheeled into an operating room. After the straitjacket was taken off, 507 grabbed a chair and swung it wildly at the creatures to keep them at bay until he shifted back. When he asked to describe the appearance of the nurse creature, 507 began screaming in terror and was unable to provide a coherent description. He attempted to provide a drawing of the creature, but was only able
It kind of makes me think of the nurses from Silent Hill.
to produce a series of jagged lines. Following this encounter, his request for a memory wipe was denied. Other shifts included going to a world where every surface was covered with an unidentifiable mold, a land of icy tundras populated by aggressive bears, and one place that he refused to describe beyond repeating the phrase, "so many spiders." Not all
Yeah,
of the worlds
nope, the
that
fuck out of there.
507 has encountered are frightening. Some are simply strange and unusual.
Can't do the spiders.
During one shift, he found himself on a large basketball court, where 6 other individuals were playing a game of basketball. There were 2 humans, 2 insectoid creatures, 1 creature resembling a squid, and one hovering yellow sphere with 8 arms. When 507 asked where he was informed that he had arrived at the All-Species Sports Center. During another...
Bro, that's cool. I would, if I had dimension traveling powers and I was to discover there's a place out there where everybody, like all these species, are coexisting, that would be like, I don't know, a dream come true. That's amazing. I've always liked Star Trek, and I've been a big person of like humans with aliens with AI, you know, all of us together. If we ever fucking discover or create the AI, discover aliens or create AI. How we could discover AI if we discover aliens, because it could be from a long lost civilization that created it that's just been out there building its colony or something. Whenever I talk about things like that, I can go off pretty bad. I'm going to stop that there, because if not, that could be like a 30-minute conversation.
Another shift, 507 found himself in a world made entirely of gelatin. During yet another shift, he appeared in a large auditorium filled with 50,000 other Dimension Hoppers who were holding a political rally for the People's Dimension Hopper Republic. Working with the Republic over the course of 2 weeks, 507 helped to overthrow the United States government and establish a new one run by Dimension Hoppers. SCP-507 was elected representative of Massachusetts, but just before he could introduce his first official piece of legislation, he shifted back to our reality. One day at the facility, a particularly unusual event involving SCP-507 occurred, the events of which were documented in Interview 507-G. During a regular check-in, it was discovered that there were somehow 2 identical versions of SCP-507 in its room. They had apparently each arrived in the room independently and had been talking to one another for about half an hour before being discovered. These 2 versions were referred to as 507-A and 507-B. When prompted for an explanation, 507-B explained that there were more than one version of SCP-507 afflicted with uncontrollable dimension hopping. The doctor inquired as to which one of the 2 was the visitor, but the 2 declined to answer, fearing that this knowledge would cause the Foundation to view one of them as expendable. The 2 had multiple shared experiences that they related.
They're smart on that. They're really smart on that.
To the doctor, including both having encounters with the Smiling Man. During the interview, 507-B disappeared mid-sentence and did not reappear. The doctor asked 507-A about identifiable differences between his and his double's realities. 507-A explained that in 507-B's world, President Lincoln was killed by his vice president, whereas in 507-A's world, he was killed by General Lee. This revelation made it clear that neither 507-A nor 507-B were native to this reality. After this was revealed, 507-A was terminated and examined. No biological reason for 507's ability to hop.
What the fucking hell? Why? That is so dark.
Hop from dimension to dimension was found, though it was discovered that several pieces of 507 will shift dimensions along with the rest of the body. 3 days after this interview was conducted, the correct SCP-507 reappeared, with no knowledge of his doppelgangers or what became of them. SCP-507 is classified as safe, meaning he doesn't require any real effort to contain.
He's like, people are safe from him, but he ain't safe from people, obviously. That is so twisted.
He's also safe in the more literal sense, in that he poses no threat to anyone else. The only person in danger in the presence of SCP-507 is himself, as he has been exposed to many dangerous conditions during his reality shifts, and it's never known whether 507's next shift will end up being his last. With the cause of his shifts still being unknown, there is nothing that the Foundation can do to prevent them. All they can do is monitor him and provide him with the items that might ensure his safety in the future, like a handgun loaded with rubber bullets, a tank of air, a high-intensity flashlight, a week of ration packs, a pair of binoculars, a tracking collar, and a camera. The tracking collar allows the Foundation to recover 507 when he shifts back to our reality, in a location other than the containment facility. The rest of the equipment was granted at his request, based on obstacles that he encountered in other dimensions. Due to his docile nature, 507 is given freedom to move about the facility, but when he leaves his private room, an agent must go with him to document any shifts that might occur. No one is allowed to touch SCP-507 though, if it has been more than 2 weeks since a shift occurred. This policy stems from an incident in which an agent who was touching 507's shoulder at the time of a shift was taken with him and did not return. When he is not shifting, SCP-507 lives a relatively normal life at the facility.
Hopefully he got took to a good dimension, not the one with the spiders. Fuck. That would be terrible.
Computer with internet access, and can meet with other safe or Euclid-class SCPs that are not infectious or detrimental to his health. 507 has expressed an interest in the unusual and paranormal, and has enjoyed meeting with other SCPs, including a request to visit SCP-082 for a vacation. So far, all of these meetings have occurred without incident. Due to his anomalous shifting, SCP-507 will never be able to live a normal life. Unless he stops shifting, he will likely spend the rest of his days bouncing between unknown dimensions and his containment facility. Just like so much else about him, his relationship to his special talent is a bit of a paradox. He has the ability to go anywhere, to see things no other person on Earth has ever seen. However, because he cannot control it, cannot stop it, no matter how far away he can travel, he will never truly be free. Now go check out SCP-1000 Bigfoot and SCP-066 Eric's Toy for more tragic tales from the SCP Foundation.
Huh. I really enjoyed this story. At the same time, it's very fucking dark. They didn't have to kill the guy to. I hate it when they do those examinations like that. What is it they called it? Like Area 51 and all that. You hear about them. What's they called it? Oh, sorry, I'm not very big on this. It's man, I used to know what it was called. Anyway, it's like where they cut open corpses and they examine the insides. I had to do it in school. How can I not think of this? Anyway, somebody will tell me in the comments, hopefully. A dissection. So, I hate it when they do the dissections like that. It's not needed. You hear about it with ET, like they wanted to dissect ET. Why? You're just cutting something open to learn about it. It's so bad. There's better ways to go about that, especially with the technology we have nowadays. Just so not needed. But yeah, they didn't have to do the man like that. It was so dark. I am stuck on that part. Like that is dark right there. The SCP Foundation is pretty fucking dark. I was reacting to the safe one, and that one, he is safe, but is he safe though? Like, I fear for this guy. Not just from the dimension hopping, just the people around him. That's a pretty bad place to be. At the same time, it would be cool to end up in some pretty crazy dimensions. And like the one where he ended up in, where everybody was equals and stuff, that would be pretty. ultimate goal there. So I can't say I'd be too opposed of dying after finding a goal or a universe like that. After finding a universe like that, that's the ultimate goal I could think of, and that would be knowing that that exists out there would be. I honestly can't explain it. It would be a tremendous joy. I can't explain the amount of joy I would have learning a place like that existed. um, but yeah, I don't want to get too far off into that because then I'll go off into space and all kinds of stuff. Um, I appreciate you all checking this one out. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.